Good morning everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today we have a new weekly plan with me video where I'll take you along for some journaling and a peek behind the scenes of my life and work. I started filming this on a Monday morning when we'll do the biggest update to my Hobonichi Cousin journal. I usually begin by updating my workout tracker. I tend to do a short workout or mostly a yoga session first thing in the morning, so that's the first spread I often open. I'll be honest, I wasn't very consistent with my workouts in July. I took some time off and it's been a bit of a struggle to get back into a routine. But I know I'll eventually get there, so I'm not too worried about that. So I also hadn't set up my August workout tracker yet, so that's the first thing we'll do. I use the future log section for my workouts. I think it's perfect for listing a few different types of workouts, and then I use the bottom section to total up the minutes at the end of the month. And this Monday morning I just did a super easy 10-minute yoga session, and after updating that we'll flip over to the new weekly spread. My theme for August is this neutral, botanical, maybe light academia style theme. And I started by adding some weekday and number stickers here at the top. The weekday stickers are from Henriette Arts, and these big number sheets are from Chiara T Designs. And we're going for some neutral green and brown tones here. Then I like to highlight our lunch and dinner times with a light brush pen, which helps me section out the day. And at the bottom edge, I'm using one of my own Scribble washi tapes. This is actually my best-selling washi tape ever. It's from my very first set back in 2022. But then I added this super cute duck sticker from Ikigai Papir. I thought I would use these duck and gardening sheets together with some of my own botanical stickers on this weekly spread. But before decorating any further, I set up the side column here. I use this to usually list a few bigger weekly tasks and then to add a sleep tracker. By the way, all the tools and, brush pen colors and so on are listed in the description. So in case I don't mention something, you can find everything from there. And after this side column is set up, we can start planning for the week, at least in terms of what I could on Monday morning. On Monday, I had a lot of things to do, so before filming this video, I had to redo my nails because they were looking very rough, and then I had a lot of products to restock and orders to pack. I always go to the post office around 4 to 4:30 p.m. because the office closes at 5 p.m, so it's pretty strict deadline for me on days when I pack orders. Ideally, I like to pack everything on the previous days so that I don't need to stress about how long it's gonna take. But recently, because of my summer sale that went on until the end of July, I've had a lot of orders, so I've pretty much gone to the post office every day. You actually managed to completely surprise me with the amount of orders, which I'm so grateful for. Thank you so much for everyone who left an order. But it does also mean that I've been quite busy, and I especially ran out of almost everything I had in stock, or at least, the products that I still make by myself at home. So recently, instead of being able to pack the whole morning and afternoon, I've needed to first restock all the products before being able to pack, and then I don't really have the time to make any extras, so I just need to repeat doing this over and over, which is not ideal, but it is what it is. But anyway, sorry for that tangent. And otherwise, I'm just adding random tasks on the days I'm pretty sure of. The thing I'm gonna spend most of the time this week is the new fall collection designs. My deadline for them is around Wednesday next week, and I have already finished a lot, especially when it comes to the individual images, but I still have a lot to do, so I really try to get as much done this week as possible. If you're wondering, I'm also using a lot of my CoffeeMosterzCo stickers here. I've upgraded my storage system for these stickers as well. So I have posted a lot of different stickers on this sticker booklet, which is just a little bit easier way to carry them around and find what you're looking for. And then I am storing all my tiny icon stickers and some extra sheets in this small plastic pouch. I absolutely love these stickers. I especially use them on the weekly pages to designate the tasks I do repeatedly and to add a little bit more interest to these pages. But I think that's enough for the weekly page for now, and then let's flip over to the daily section. I'm currently using a Takia ink in the color Kurocha, which is this beautiful brown color, and I'm using my Twispy Eco on the daily pages. I actually prefer this black Twispy Eco to my white one because this is slightly thinner, even though they are both in the fine nib. But I don't know, I guess some small differences happen if these pens are handmade. I don't really know, I'm not super knowledgeable about fountain pens. But anyway, on the daily pages, I usually start by listing all my daily tasks in much more detail than I do on the weekly pages. And then I often add some stickers, washi tapes, or paper patterns, and then do some daily journaling. I had a lot of private thoughts on this Sunday page, if you're wondering what the paper there's for. It's sometimes a bit difficult to write freely in this journal because I know I'm gonna share it in the videos, but I mostly don't mind if you read my thoughts. It's just for those times when I'm writing about someone else or maybe something that is just very private. But that's all I did on Monday morning, and then let's get started with some shop restocking and packing orders. So eventually on Monday, I could not finish packing all the orders in time. So I just took some of the orders to the post office, then packed the rest of the night until I had everything ready to go, and then went to the post office again on a Tuesday morning. For some reason, I was so stressed about this on Monday, so I decided to update that to the empty section of my daily spread. But thinking back, just skipping some Instagram updating is not the biggest thing in the world. I know I haven't been very active on my Instagram, especially recently, but it's just one of those things that is kind of at the bottom of my priority list. So whenever I'm busy with everything else, it's the first thing that drops off. But because of these changes, we started on Tuesday morning by updating the weekly spread a little bit. So I moved my now third post office visit from Thursday to Friday. And I also couldn't start designing exactly in the morning on Tuesday, but small stuff like that I don't usually bother to update on the calendar. Someone asked me if I actually use the timeline on these days, and I tend to use it to some extent, but for example, the morning tasks are usually a little bit earlier than when I actually do them, just because there's not enough room to write everything otherwise. But other than that, I try to stick to the timeline as closely as possible. I'd say that I usually work until maybe 8 to 9 p.m., but I also do take some breaks throughout the day. I usually take a nap every day after eating lunch, and then I have some free time before or after eating dinner as well. But ideally, I would like to finish my work maybe around 8 p.m. at the latest. On Tuesday, I decided to use a journaling prompt on the daily page, and I keep this list of them at the back of my journal, which you can download for yourself if you want to. The link is in the description. And I was using the same sticker sheets and similar colors that we did on the weekly spread here. There's usually not enough room for these bigger girl stickers on the weekly pages, so I tend to use them on the daily pages instead. And Tuesday, after going to the post office, it was just a very chill designing day for me. And I'll also show you some design progress and sneak peeks while I'm working. on Wednesday morning, we did a very quick update to the work tracker and the weekly spread and jumped straight to the daily pages. Something I wanted to mention about the daily pages is that I usually start my daily journaling in the same way every morning, so I don't have to think about where to start. I know it's hard to tell because I write in Finnish, but I basically start by writing good morning, what time it is, and recently I've also started to write the daily temperature and general weather. I actually picked this up from the book The Frozen River that I read pretty recently. The main character always wrote the daily weather in her journal, and I thought it was a fun idea. So this is just, if you struggle to come up with something to write, I think having this kind of canned starting way might be beneficial to just get you into the writing mode. So Wednesday was more designing and not much else for me. And I also didn't film that many clips throughout the day, but I hope you enjoyed a few sneak peeks anyway. Now we are at Thursday and I didn't sleep very well this night. I also had a little bit of a weird morning, so I decided to skip doing yoga, and that means that we are jumping straight to the weekly spread where I updated a few things and added some stuff for the weekend. I decided to do some work on the weekend this week, but it's design work, so pretty chill. Doing that for a few hours is not gonna ruin my whole weekend. And this is just because my design deadline is on the next Wednesday, roughly, and I didn't know if I'll finish everything before that if I don't work a little bit on the weekend. But anyway, then on the daily page, I wrote out my task list, and then I have some private thoughts that I hit with this paper pattern thing. Something that I'll hopefully be able to share with you in the near future. I decided to use some by Charizze stickers on this spread. So these are from her Lost in Library collection, and I think they suited the neutral colors in this theme really well. After that, I just wrote my typical morning entry and then continued with my day, which was again very design heavy. I don't know if this week was the best for filming a video like this, but at least I can share some behind the scenes to the new collection. I just don't want to spoil the whole collection just yet, and I'm also afraid that some things are gonna change and then you're gonna be disappointed if something you saw in the video actually doesn't make it to the final collection, but that's a pretty rare case, so I hope it's not gonna happen. Friday is our last entry in this video, and I also added some of the Friday morning packing footage before this section already. So on Friday I went to the post office again and then spent the rest of the day and evening editing this video, so recording the voiceover and also scheduling everything on YouTube for tomorrow. So we're adding some final stickers to the weekly spread, and as a whole I actually really liked how this turned out. I just love these neutral colors, and even though there are not as many tasks this week as on some others, I still like how the stickers fill up this space. Then on the daily page, I didn't do anything special except that I used this beautiful bigger girl sticker, which is also from by Charizze. I think this is actually from her fall collection, but the colors were perfect for this theme. And then I just wrote about my thoughts on the Friday morning as usual. But I guess that's pretty much all for this time. I really hope you enjoyed watching this weekly plan with me video. I really enjoy sharing these quick snippets of my life and just how I use the weekly and daily pages in general. Those are always a little bit difficult to show in the monthly planning videos, but at the end of the day, these are the pages where I spend most of my time when I use this journal. If this was your first time around here and you'd like to stay tuned for more art and journaling, definitely consider subscribing. But I guess that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a lovely day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye!